All right, guys, we are live. It is Monday night. I hope that everybody enjoyed your holiday time. I hope everybody enjoyed the time they spent with their families, opening up gifts, um, getting a chance to fellowship and be around with their people. All right, but we got to talk some football tonight.
Man, it's
I'm
been a
here
while.
tonight. I got Brandon Clay here with me, my guy, and I like let's carry Kerry, former University of Illinois player, NFL player, the number one hater of the SEC conference. Nobody hates the SEC more than Kerry Davis does,
Hey man,
right? Nobody hates the SEC more than you.
can I clarify that statement?
Clarify it.
That's like people calling people LeBron haters. People don't really hate LeBron. We just hate those that don't that think LeBron walk on water. Like we got eyes. We saw Mike play, right? So I got eyes. I see the Big Ten play. I'm not a hater. I just tell the truth. And to people like Carl Reed, it bothers him because he don't want to hear it. But I explained to y'all, man, the SEC wasn't the SEC. It was Nick Saban. It was a little bit of Kirby Smart, and then it was everybody else. But it was Nick Saban. And I explained that to you. And y'all are starting to see the ramifications of the greatest coach to ever lace him up on the collegiate sideline, not be on the collegiate sideline. He's gone, Reed. And so is the SEC. So is the dream, right? The dream is gone, Reed. It's over. It's dead, baby. Let it die. You ain't gonna be able to revive it, man. You gonna have to get Nick back. You gonna have to get him on the horn. Can you please come save us? It's over, baby. I mean, it's Nick Saban and the SEC. It's like Michael Jackson and the Jackson Five, right? You know who the star is. It's like when Michael Jackson left. Did the Jackson Five keep going? They ain't called themselves the Jackson Four. They just stopped making music. They no longer did nothing. It was no longer a group, man. It's Nick Saban and the SEC. See, Kirby Smart like Tito. Tito had an album or two, right? He did his thing. He was special.
Whoa.
Don't hate on Tito.
Kirby had multiple platinum albums. He's won 2 national titles. Tito did not have a platinum album. Tito was not a solo artist who could travel around the country. You are wilding right now, man.
Tito and Jermaine were special. They just wasn't Mike. Right? They just wasn't Mike. And it's okay. You can still be great. You just ain't gonna be as great. It's fine.
So we're gonna ignore the fact that Urban Meyer won 2 at Florida.
He won. How many he won at Ohio State?
Auburn won 1. LSU won 2.
With who?
Les Miles won 1.
And who was the other coach?
Orgeron won 1.
Was it Orgeron? It was Nick. Yeah. Nick didn't win one there.
Nick won 1 there also. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's 3 for LSU.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, let's not forget Spurrier, the original Don of the SEC. Let's not forget Spurrier, boy.
Yeah.
I ain't even going all the way back to Spurrier.
That's the 90s. We don't got to go back that far, right, Reed?
Hey, man, I'm a Georgia fan. I still got bad memories of Spurrier, dog.
Hey, then Kirby won 2. So
I said Kirby did his thing.
So I mean, but you can't act like it was just Alabama.
It was
multiple teams who
it was Alabama. It was Michael Jackson and the Jackson Five.
This is insane talk.
It was Michael Jackson and the Jackson Five.
This is insane.
There's no knock against Kirby. Y'all don't hate on Jermaine Jackson. He did a great job.
So you really feel like just after this playoffs that's not even finished yet, because there's still an SEC team alive.
Is that SEC team good, Reed?
Texas?
Yeah, are they good?
They're in the Final Four, of course.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. See, politicians know how to divert and you know.
Oh, he done called me a politician now.
I asked you, are they good? Are they a good team?
They in the college football.
That's not what I asked you. Are they a good team in your opinion? You are a former offensive. No. Hold on. Let me finish. You're a former offensive lineman. You love the upfront play. You love the trenches. I watched the Arizona State team. One man rushed for 200 plus. He threw a touchdown. He catching balls out of the backfield. Is that a good team, Carl Reed, that can't stop the run?
Well, first off, you got to put some respect on that player's name.
Let me finish. They can't stop the run, and they can't run. Is that a good team? A playoff to win a championship? Is that a recipe for a championship?
Listen, bro.
Your silence speaks volumes. I know.
Listen.
It's okay.
We letting you have your moment tonight because you've been hating on you didn't just start hating on the SEC this season. But it's playoffs. You've been hating on SEC from the moment you lost in the Sugar Bowl when you were playing in college.
Hey, listen. And I give credit to Nick Saban, again, greatest coach to coach the college football sideline, to grace a sideline. I give credit to Nick Saban and the Louisiana State University Tiger football team.
While we in the middle of this conversation, I just got a notification here. Hold on, I got to bring something up. Our SEC expert.
Hey,
right?
You got Maryland on that. I see you got Maryland in the background.
Everybody welcome Smoke Dixon.
Where's the Alabama stuff?
Right, Smoke.
Man, you listen. You see the A Club.
I don't know what that. I can't see the A. It's something.
Listen,
okay.
There's only Kerry. Okay, listen. Check me out. You've been out of pocket. That's why I put my hat on because you bring in some cold hate straight to the game. I put my uncle.
What you say? It's cold even when it's hot outside.
Man, listen. It's brutal out here, man. It's cold in Nashville. But listen, Reed. You got to understand, Kerry. There's only one A. It starts with an A, ends with an A, and that's Alabama. Right, they're down right now because they're out, and your Michigan boys busted them up. And I told you, I said it earlier on in the year. For this year, the Big Ten is better than the SEC. Right now, they are.
Were they better last year too?
Who won the national championship, dude?
Who won the national championship?
That's what I'm asking you. Who won the national championship
last year?
Okay, so they were better last year too.
Oh, okay. I just want you to say that. That's all. I wasn't arguing with you. I just wanted
Kerry, you know I'm a man that tells you the truth, right? So, but what happened this year, and I believe that we're all looking at it kind of sideways, is the Big Ten's always played this way. And when I mean this way is they've always had less and worked with it and gotten better. The SEC is always known to have 14 guys on the defensive line that were first-round talented guys. So the way that they practice, the way that they worked in the offseason, the way they built their team for those playoff runs was built that way. We're in a different landscape now. And I don't think that the SEC is adjusting properly to it. You're losing your 2s and 3s, and they're going to other places and playing. Right. So the way that you train the offseason of beating them up, and playing that tough, rigorous schedule that the SEC does play, I think it's gone backwards on them because no one cares about the strength of schedule anymore, Kerry. You and I both know that. And you don't have those 2s and 3s for Georgia, Jalen Carter, and Wyatt running out there in the second wave to come out and stop on Notre Dame. You're having guys that shouldn't be playing right now that's playing. But the Big Ten's been doing that for a long time. Notre Dame's been doing that for a long time. So you know how to adjust to that. That's all. And you guys just ahead of the curve for now.
You all had an embarrassment of riches.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
That's what I made it longer than what you just said. Yes.
An embarrassment of riches, meaning if your 2s and 3s are capable of having success and playing at a high level, when your 1s get tired, if they get hurt, you're able to keep plugging away, keep going, right?
Yeah.
That's what Alabama has had for the last 15 to 20 years.
Georgia's had that too.
The last 5 years,
correct.
The last 3 to 4 years, 5
correct.
years if you want to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Everybody else hasn't. Now everybody else has had one really good team. Joe Burrow and LSU was a really good team. Cam Newton and Auburn was a really good team.
No, right? 1-man show. It's 2-man show. It's Nick and Cam. That's it.
No. I said they had good teams. They had Justin Jefferson and Jordan.
No, I'm talking about Auburn. They only have 2 players. Cam.
Oh, well, yeah. And you got to give Kelvin Benjamin some love. He was nice.
No, Benjamin, Florida State.
No. I'm thinking Florida State. Who was the receiver for Auburn? One of the receivers.
They have one. Cam.
Cam was the one.
Yeah, Cam threw it to himself. Cam caught and Cam runs.
Jameson and Kelvin Benjamin. he did pretty much. So what I said before you got on, Smoke, and I'm a little upset that you were a little bit late. Nick Saban.
On time. I'm on time. I'm on time for nonsense.
On time is smoke time, if that's what you're saying. Okay.
On time for nonsense.
Nick Saban was like Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5. When Michael left, They didn't call themselves the Jackson 4, did they? They didn't have a group no more. Nick Saban did the SEC. Mike left the Jackson 5. Mike went and did his solo thing. Nick Saban is on game day, calling games and cursing on ESPN, and everybody's laughing. We're having a great time. Nick Saban has recreated and reinvented himself. He is the man. And Nick Saban with or without Bama.
Timeout.
Bama and the SEC has to adjust. They got to find a way to get the people to dance and sing and laugh and enjoy their music.
People getting to see what he been calling me and FaceTiming me and texting me all weekend.
Kerry, knock it off, man.
Nick Saban is Michael Jackson, and the rest of the SEC is the Jackson 5.
I think. Listen, I gave you credit, and we both agreed that the Big Ten has been better the last 2 years because they won a national championship, and they have 2 of the 4 teams that are in the Final Four. But you can't say the SEC was a one-team league when Georgia won back-to-back.
I said it. I think Georgia had a run there of 5
But you just said the Jackson 5, and then
y'all don't respect. That's because y'all don't respect the rest of the Jackson 5, and that's a shame on you.
Who does?
Hey. That's on y'all.
I think
okay, hold on. You want me to give you New Edition? And then when Johnny left or when Bobby left, he's
been waiting 20 years to be able to have
he still had hits. Poison was the jam. We still pop to it.
Well, Kerry, let me ask you this question right here. Do you think moving forward the Big Ten is about to take over the way the SEC just had a 20-year run? Do you think that's what's about to happen?
I think it's possible. I think
hold
on. Because y'all again,
stop saying y'all because you're putting me in y'all. I'm a truthful person.
Let me talk to Carl Reed.
Kerry, they say you better than this. John said you better than
this. No, I ain't. I am not better than this. Trust me. This is who I am.
Like literally, the SEC ran off before Michigan's win. The SEC won 6 of the last 8. The only other person to win a title was Dabo Swinney. He did it 2 times.
Yes.
So eight of the last 9 championships that have been won have been won by either Dabo Swinney at Clemson or someone in the SEC. Okay. Only 2 of those are accounted for by Nick Saban. Respectfully to Nick Saban, 2 of 6, 2 of 6, 2 of 8 total. Like that's not Michael Jackson, who was the lead singer, and no one else ever heard of Jackson.
Got 7 to everybody else's 2.
Kerry, is the Big Ten? Are you saying on here that the Big Ten is taking over the SEC?
What I'm saying is the Big Ten, and I told y'all this prior to this bowl season, that the Big Ten was a much better conference than you all gave it credit for.
No, the bottom of the conference still sucks.
That's all we said.
Is the bottom of the conference? What's the bottom of y'all conference? Kentucky, Mississippi State.
It sucks.
Mississippi State, Kentucky.
Those
teams suck too.
Yes.
So
why does Mississippi State got to catch a straight?
Why does Northwestern? Why do they got to catch a straight?
They're not good.
Good.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you for tuning in, John.
All the teams that I just mentioned, right?
Hey, Kentucky had a good season. Vanderbilt had a good season. Like
that's not the bottom of the conference, Brandon.
We should have a bottom-to-bottom matchup. Let the bottom of the Big Ten play the bottom of the SEC.
But that's not the bottom of the conference, right?
The worst team of the SEC this year is Mississippi.
The bottom of the conference is Mississippi State, Kentucky.
When we talk about the bottom, you got to say what is that? The bottom 33%. The bottom 33% of the SEC greater than the bottom 33% of the Big Ten.
Well, let's talk about the top because that's really what matters. Let's talk about the top of the conference.
Perfect. Now,
let's talk
about the top of the conference. Thank you. Opened the door. I'm at you annually. Appreciate you.
Let's
talk about the top. If we talk about the top annually, a decade feels fair, right?
No.
A decade feels fair. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let's start with a decade, right? Then we'll get to the last 5, right? And then we'll talk about the singular championship that y'all won last year. We'll get there. So we're right now. We are at 7 of 10 for the last decade.
Yeah, the last one.
With the championship still to be determined that has not been crowned just yet, right? Cool.
I agree.
Cool. Let's go to 5. Let's go to 5. It's still the SEC. It's still 4 of the last 5. Michigan
Go to the
first
last
win.
2.
The last 2 right now is Michigan and Georgia. So your man Kirby Smart, that's like evidently Tito or Jermaine or something. It's
Tito.
Jermaine did his thing. Who you say smoked Tito?
Yeah, you make him Tito, but he won back. But he went back to back though. Tito
never had 2. Tito didn't have 1 solo
2.
tour, let alone 2 solo tours. Not 1 platinum hit, let alone 2 platinum hits. Y'all gonna put some respect on Kirby Smart name tonight.
I have nothing but respect for Kirby Smart. I think he's a hell of a coach.
No, you obviously you don't have any.
No, you don't. You called the man Tito Jackson.
Kirby Smart. Kerry Davis called you Tito Jackson.
They have.
Unbelievable.
The talent.
Hey, we're gonna. I'm getting tried to take that clip out. I'm sending it to Kirby. You called Kirby Tito Jackson.
Y'all taking that as a negative, man.
Right?
It is a negative.
And you called me.
So, Kerry, how many coaches have won back-to-back national championships?
I said that Kirby Smart is a hell of a coach. No. He did a fantastic job. He has done a fantastic job. I will not take no credit away from him and Georgia and what they have done. I said Nick Saban is Michael Jackson. If y'all can't agree with that, that's y'all.
No. We didn't mind that statement.
We didn't mind
that you calling him Tito Jackson.
When I called him Tito, I was joking. It just flowed.
No.
I was joking.
Take it back.
I'm not.
Hey, Reed. Hold on.
It don't bother me. It don't bother me, none. Y'all gotta give Tito and Jermaine their credit.
Kerry, I just think sometimes you know when you've gotten busted up for so many years, Reed, and you have that final little one run, you're allowed to say whatever you want. So we're gonna give you your time and give you your grace. This is your time right now. So
let's get to this year because I want to talk this year. Yeah, because I was told how dominant the SEC was and how.
Who said that?
The man right above you said it, Carl Reed. He on my screen. I don't know where he is on your screen. He's right above you. Right up there. Yep, point up. Yep, that's him. He told me, that's why I called him. I tried to FaceTime all y'all, but y'all was too busy. It's cool. I understand. I called him. He answered. That's his thing. I was told by Carl Reed how the SEC, it just means more. Football means more in the SEC. I watched what y'all told me was a Alabama team that should have been in the college football playoffs. You don't got to shake your head, Smoke. If it don't apply to you, you don't got to do nothing. I'm talking to one man. He knows who you point up. You know who I'm talking to. Him and people like him told me Alabama deserved to be in the playoffs. They in the toughest conference in football. How they don't get in the playoffs? That team lost to a Michigan team that had 160 yards of offense.
Can you call on me?
I don't even think they had 100 yards passing.
Can you call on me for 1 second? Why you made that?
Go ahead.
That team also beat Ohio State.
Come on,
keep going.
Which y'all told me, which you all told, and we're gonna get on Ohio State in a second. But what you all told me, a rivalry game doesn't matter because I watched Georgia and Georgia Tech go into 17 overtimes, and your explanation, which you said, Smoke, was it's a rivalry game. It happens.
Who won?
Georgia won.
Good. Keep going.
They won.
The better team won.
Rivalry game. So anything can happen. Back to my original point. I watched an Alabama team lose to a Michigan team that cannot throw a forward pass. That's terrible. Mm-hmm. I watched another South Carolina team, which you all told me they also deserve to be in the playoffs. They got snubbed.
Whoa.
No one said that.
I like Beamer.
Nobody said that, bro.
I like Sellers, but like absolutely not.
You see how you just try to lie to the audience right there?
You haven't said that?
South Carolina in the playoffs? Are you serious?
Carl Reed. People have said it. Maybe it wasn't you, but you all have heard that. I watched the South Carolina team get beat up against an Illinois team. Did everything. They had 3 weeks to do every damn trick play that they could come up with on special teams, and it didn't work. I watched that happen. Now let's get to the real game, the playoff game, which y'all told me, and I know y'all said Tennessee was in the playoffs. Took their butt up to Columbus, Ohio, and they got foot to face.
Okay, hold on.
The entire game from start to finish.
Hold on. I'm cool with that. I'm not even a huge Tennessee advocate, but as someone who watched them live in person, I will say this. I said this on the show after watching them play Georgia on air. Tennessee offensively was only as good as Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson did not play 10 meaningful snaps in that football game before he was gone. They never had the power to do anything if Dylan Sampson wasn't playing, period, the end. So,
but it's the best conference in football, and y'all told me y'all got backups on backups on backups.
Well, who? No, somebody said this. The matchups were great this year. The games were good this year. The middle of the league is significantly better and more competitive than any other league in the country.
Let's go to the next playoff game.
Yeah.
Because Smoke definitely told me that Georgia didn't need their starting quarterback in Carson Beck.
I said that.
Which I replied, that's strange. What team? Your words, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't like putting words in people's mouth. Your words was Carson Beck ain't been good all year. It don't matter. My response,
I said he wasn't a difference maker.
My response to that is, if that's the case, why wasn't Gunnar Stockton starting to begin with?
No.
If that's the case,
and again, you saw my reply.
Matter if the quarterback. See, this is the part that y'all missing, and this to me is the arrogance that y'all have about the conference.
Hold on. You're gonna stop saying y'all, man.
Hold on.
Stop lumping us all together, dog.
Just like I told Smoke, like, if it don't apply to you, just let it go.
No, that's like somebody saying y'all are calling me like a different color.
You just let it go.
What's the person you go into?
Just let it go. But there is an arrogance. There is an arrogance about the conference. The arrogance that Smoke Dixon would tell me that the quarterback don't matter. That they still gonna beat a Notre Dame team that had lost one game all season long, because that's the SEC versus an independent.
So Kerry, all right, you said all that, and I get it. Great point. But what was Indiana's record this year?
They were 11-1.
Yeah, they ran through that league. They went 11-1 with a quarterback that had a torn ACL.
Yeah.
How good? Wow, that's a really good. That's saying a lot. So you can't be. You can't beat a team.
He lost. They lost to the team that's gonna probably win the national championship.
He played majority of the year with a torn ACL, and he still busted up the greatest teams.
Who didn't? So hold on. Don't do that, sir.
Now go into who they played.
I'm not letting that slide. Not letting that slide. Not letting that slide. Not letting that slide. Because you told me all year Indiana ain't played nobody, so you can't tell me that's the greatest teams. You said it.
Big Ten.
They ain't played nobody all year.
They played a Big Ten schedule. They beat everybody with a quarterback with nobody.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
What did they do? Reed, where did they do that at? Where can you win?
I tell you,
Harry didn't even feel comfortable picking Ohio State over Indiana the week leading to the game.
I told you I needed to see what they look like.
You didn't even feel confident.
I needed to see what they look like.
You didn't even feel.
Ask Reed, was I confident to pick the Ohio State over Tennessee?
Anybody, Ohio State is the best team on paper, bro. That's not hard.
They're the best team.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
When they lost to Michigan, they weren't good.
I've always said they're the best team on paper. I've always said their talent comparable to everybody else. Not even close.
Where's Trout? I need Trout to start writing these quotes down.
Pause.
And putting sticky notes in the private chat, so he can the date and the time when things are said.
Kerry,
I know.
Kerry, I'm one that will say the truth
as we go further along.
I'm one that Reed. Back in the summertime when Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel made the comment of the best team on paper, what was my comment? Ohio State should blow everybody out by at least 10 points. And they still should do it. They still should do it. What position can Ohio State not walk out in college football right now with the 4 teams in it and say they don't have the best players at that position?
Hey, listen. At the end of the day, Kerry,
the day go in, baby.
The SEC this year, they didn't produce
rise again
that they normally have, but they'll be back. The South will rise again, Kerry. They'll be back. You know, but this is my question for you, because you've been a big Oregon proponent all year. What happened to Oregon?
They got smoked. They got smoked. They lined it up and they got smoked. And I also said that Ohio State playing on a neutral field, not playing at Oregon, it's a different game. You go to Oregon, you lose by 1 point, and you have an opportunity to win. You lost. You played at a neutral site. They smoked them from start to finish. So it's football. It happens. Those things happen. Oregon was a good football team all year long, and they ran into a better team, the same team that lost to Michigan a few weeks prior. It's football. It happens. So the problem that I have with you all, and
you're not here for your problems no more.
Y'all gonna hear my problems. The problem I have with
he's been waiting 20 years.
The problem I have with all three of y'all is when it's an SEC team losing to Kentucky, or it's an SEC team losing to Vanderbilt, or it's an SEC team losing to who else? Who Arkansas beat one of y'all boys. When those things happen, it's a tough conference. It's hard. But when the best team in the country, your words down there in the bottom left corner, Smoke, the best team in the country loses to Michigan, it's the end of the world.
Who's the best team in the country?
Ohio State.
I said the best team on paper.
Most talent.
Yeah.
Smoke. We can go back and forth with words and this, that. You essentially saying the same thing.
No, I'm not.
On paper, line it up. That's fine. The best team on paper in the country, Ohio State, loses to their rival in Michigan. That team ain't. So the narrative changes when y'all talk about the Big Ten versus the SEC. Because I watched Alabama, the number one team in the country, lose to Vanderbilt, man. I watched Georgia almost lose to Kentucky. I did watch Tennessee lose to Kentucky. Like, I watch these things. My eyes work.
I saw Notre Dame use the NIU. What does that mean?
I just went to the doctor a couple weeks ago. My eyes are damn good. I had LASIK 20 years ago. I see it. I don't know what y'all looking at, Reed. You may need to wipe them damn glasses off. Get them clean because you can't see.
Hey, Kerry. Hey, Kerry. You know, one of the worst pies that you can eat is that humble pie. And I would hate to see it just for the how you feel right now.
I'd love to see it.
No. I would hate to see the smile wiped off your face if Marcus Freeman goes in there and busts up Penn State, and if Steve Sarkisian calls a wonderful game, and Texas is in the national championship.
Now let me ask you. Let me get my
thought out.
Oh, okay. I thought you were done. My apologies, sir.
So what? And now, in your defense, like, what are you going to say then? Because right now you're on a horse that you can't even get off of, and I'm just telling you, be mindful, because all of us that go up on the ladder, that fall is really, really hard, and you're gonna have to come down.
I will come down.
Okay, we've been up top before, so us going down for a day or two, it's normal.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm gonna leave y'all with this on the topic. I'm gonna run some names off of y'all. This year's version of Southern California, Rutgers, Washington, Nebraska, Michigan State, UCLA, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Maryland, and Purdue.
and you named all those teams.
It was a lot.
You did.
It was a lot. It was a lot of teams.
But what you didn't name is Ohio State, Oregon.
We really are referring to Indiana in this particular part of the conference.
Yeah, that they beat.
Indiana schedule. Dude.
Who would you like me to name?
I
forgot. My bad. I do apologize. I forgot Alabama went into Oklahoma.
Hold on. Listen, no. The SEC only had 4 teams finish the year under 500. The SEC had 4 teams finish the season under 500.
How many of them teams beat the top teams in y'all league?
Hold on.
How many of them teams beat the top teams in y'all league?
4 comparative to 7.
How many of them teams beat the top teams in y'all league?
7.
Hey, B Clay.
That's all I got. Hey, let's talk about Marcus Freeman, Carl Reed, because I want to.
No. Let me answer Smoke's question, or let me have a rebuttal real quick for Smoke.
Go ahead.
Because you mentioned Marcus Freeman and Penn State that game. Yeah. That's fine. I want to talk to you about Texas and Ohio State, because I asked Carl Reed this and he didn't give me an answer. He tried to, finagle his way up out of it. Do you think Texas beats Ohio State? Do you see a path for Texas to beat Ohio State?
I do.
Definitely.
I see a path.
Okay. Do you think that they will?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
I think it's 70-30.
Do I think what, Kerry Davis?
You think Texas will beat Ohio State?
You know, it depends on how the game goes.
Oh,
If the offensive line holds up.
Give him the answer, Carl. Just get it to him. Let him run with it.
Kerry, listen, man.
Just ask the question. I don't know why that's so hard. It's two answers. It's yes or no. There's no gray area. You have an opinion. You can say what you feel. Yeah. Don't be afraid to speak on it, brother.
Hey,
I'll come back to you. Brandon Clay, do you think Texas can beat Ohio State?
Yeah, okay.
Do you think they will beat?
Hold on. Let me finish. You asked me two questions. Let me answer. They can beat them for sure. Are they going to be the favorites in the game? Absolutely not. The Vegas odds lines, Ohio State should be favored probably by 7-10 if we keep it. They probably won't go to 14. That feels a little extreme. But 7-10 feels like a very fair line on a neutral field for Ohio State versus Texas, which is a winnable game, but it does mean Ohio State's the favorite. I have no problem saying that.
Do you okay, so Ohio State. Carl Reed, do you think Ohio State will?
Hold on. Now, if I'm picking one or the other, I'm picking Texas. I'm just saying that Ohio State. Hey, I'm going to pull a new Corso on y'all, and I'm picking Texas.
You say Texas.
Hey, this is for my guy Dave Poole in Indianapolis, man. I'm
going
with Texas.
Do you think Texas?
Brandon, here's what's killing me about Kerry tonight. Kerry Davis did not feel comfortable picking Ohio State over Indiana during the season. And now because Ohio State is red hot, now he comes in here and he tries to bully everybody on the show.
I picked Ohio State after they lost to what I've called.
You didn't even pick Ohio State over Oregon.
You didn't ask me. We ain't talk about it. So now
I didn't have to ask you because I know what's in your heart.
Now
I know you picked Oregon.
I ain't talking to you about no game. Ohio State.
You didn't think that.
So who did you have, Kerry? So okay, let's clear it up. Who did you have? Ohio State or Oregon?
I didn't have nobody. I didn't pick nobody.
Sounds about right.
I didn't have nobody.
A man of many opinions has not.
I didn't have no
FanDuel account.
I definitely ain't bet on it.
You was.
Hold on, Carl Reed, because you do this. You're really good at it. Answer the question.
No, hey, Kerry ain't pick. You ain't got to pick. I answer for Reed, man. It's cool.
Texas.
Hey, give him the answer that Kerry gave you that time, Reed. Give me two.
You wait till you see the game start.
I'll let you know. At the end of the fourth quarter.
There you go. All right, I appreciate it. With all due respect, no problem.
You can't discount Steve Sarkisian's ability to call plays in big time games like this.
I think
and
Texas,
manipulate matchups.
I think Texas has a chance to win. I don't think that they do. I don't think that they're tough enough. That's my opinion.
So
they're tough.
So Kerry, hold on. Neither one of these teams are tough.
Ohio State is tougher, and I also and we said go ahead, but finish.
But you wouldn't put them in the same category as like Notre Dame tough. Like Ohio State's kryptonite is tough physical play. Can we agree to that?
When they played Michigan, yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Right. They played a Michigan team that punched them in the mouth.
Right. So I like going through matchups. And I think that these quarterbacks, Kerry, are going to have a lot to say about what happens and who wins the game. Do you have more confidence in Will Howard than Quinn Ewers?
I do, because I got more confidence in who Will Howard is throwing the ball to.
Yeah, man.
I have more confidence in that. And I've seen Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is he. I don't think he gets enough credit for how tough he is, both mentally and physically. I think he's a tough quarterback. That run he had on the goal line to score that touchdown, like to me, that's a grit play.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta have it. I can't run out of bounds. I can't throw the ball away. I gotta score, and he did. He has a level of toughness to him. I'm not gonna take that away from him.
Ryan Wingo, a freshman receiver at the University of Texas, from St. Louis. He gets 150 and 2 touchdowns.
What about? Are we forgetting about Isaiah? Are we forgetting about Isaiah
Bond and Matthew Golden too? Golden's had a great season. He's played it. Draft stock playing up.
Sometimes Reed just talks. It's okay.
But hey, I'm excited. I think it should be a competitive game. I'm excited to see what Marcus Freeman does. against James Franklin. That's really what I want to
So,
see.
so I wanted to get to that because you talked about the toughness of Notre Dame. Do you not think Penn State is tough?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
I
saw Boise bust them up on the interior of that offensive line, and I saw Drew Allard blink.
You saw Boise State bust Penn State up on the interior?
In the interior, yeah.
Smoke, we must have been watching two different games.
Okay, Kerry. Okay, here we go. Here we go. The big runs came off of what kind of play?
It was one big run.
The big runs came off of what?
There was one big run. It was a 26-yarder, and it was off tackle, or it was in the B gap, excuse me. And it was a missed play by either the safety filling the hole or the linebacker not getting over. One big run.
All right. So where did majority of the pressure come from against Boise? Where did majority of the pressure come from?
When you talking about from Boise to Penn State? So you're saying you're giving me two different examples.
I'm talking about. Are you saying middle of their team, the spine of their team, which is guard, center, guard?
Correct.
I saw Drew Allard being smacked in the face and pocket getting shoved in his face because the interior of their offensive line.
So
when runs were when Boise had big runs, the interior of their defensive line got pushed around. That's all I'm saying to you.
Those are two different. You're talking offensive line and defensive line. Defensive line did not get pushed around. The linebackers filled their gaps. Offensive line, if there's pressure created, that's two separate things. I was talking about the defense of Penn State, shutting down Ashton Jeanty, who only had one big run. He had 100 yards, but all of those runs were him fighting. And I mean, the one run he had was an 11-yard run.
How did they tie the game up?
By him.
How did they tie the game up?
Ashton Jeanty was second in the Heisman finalists. But Penn State bottled that young man up the entire game.
Not saying they didn't. I'm just saying how did they tie the game up? How did they score that touchdown on the goal line? Where did they run the ball?
They ran the ball.
Boom. You saw six filling it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. The spine of that team can be taken. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they can't play. You asked me the weakness and their toughness. Whenever I look at toughness, I look at the spine of offense and defense. When Ashton Jeanty got yards, it wasn't on the stretch scheme. It wasn't. It was down. Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
But Smoke, it's 33 runs of 4 yards, 5 yards, and I'm not taking away from that. That ain't he did not gash them boys.
Never said that. You don't gas for toughness. You pound the rock and sledgehammer away.
Smoke, who wins the semis and makes it to the championship game? Who
I got Notre Dame against Ohio State.
Clay, what about you?
I'm gonna go Notre Dame against Texas.
Kerry, who you got?
I want Penn State, but I do think Notre Dame is a little bit tougher up front. Don't mean Penn State is soft. That don't mean
I never said that.
Put your hands up.
I never said they were soft.
I'll go Ohio State and Notre Dame.
Kerry wants an all Big Ten national championship game for sure.
He's fighting it. He's fighting.
I love it. Honestly, the show needs this. This is great energy tonight.
We ain't had a show in weeks.
But Reed, here's something that I want to get to, man. The end of the NFL season, right? The Tennessee Titans got the first overall pick. You're trying to let this thing slide a little bit. Last time I checked, there's two people that live in the Nashville area on this Zoom. The guy up top and the guy down bottom. There's somebody that's real close to potentially the first overall pick. Any excitement for your godson, Shedeur, coming to town? And is there any possibility? I think there's a way that Drew Allard can play himself in this conversation, and I'll tell you how. But go ahead. And start rambling off of how great Colorado is.
Two things. Every person that I run into in the state of Tennessee, they would like to see Shedeur be the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. And every time I get on the internet, everybody is telling me that Coach Prime is manipulating the draft, that he's telling the teams who to pick and where to go and all of that. And I'm telling you, I talk to him all the time, and he's never said that to me. But what I will say is, Coach Prime, if you are in fact doing what they say you're doing, and you can, if it's in you, right? If anybody can do it, you can do it. And if it's in you to manipulate the draft, send Shedeur to the Tennessee Titans, right? Send him to the Tennessee Titans. You make the whole state of Tennessee.
Reed,
and I'll go to the games. I'll get season tickets.
Oh, you're in the press, but you up in the suite.
I mean, I probably won't need tickets, but
no, you're in the suite. You're in the suite.
I'll be in there.
Hey, Kerry, there's a slim chance that Drew Aller can play himself into the conversation of 3 quarterbacks.
You think so?
There's a chance.
Talk to us, Mo. Give us your rundown. You thought about this. Talk to us, man.
So when you look at the quarterback landscape, you got obviously Shedeur, you have Cam, and whenever you hear names or a name popping up, and you hear anonymous scouts, executives, there's some truth to it. And when you cut the film on and you watch Drew throw the football in a perfect day, perfect scenario, and everybody's throwing it, he has the biggest upside out of all of those guys. From the size, the ability to throw, what you want out of a quarterback. But just like I told you 2 minutes ago, the thing that troubles me the most is his intangibles. The toughness in the pocket to take a hit and deliver the ball. The ability to lead your team. If you're that talented with the running back tandem that he has with Singleton and Allen, and you have Tyler Warren as your tight end, we should be getting a little bit more out of him. You should at least have a signature win or 2 with that much talent. And when you're going to a team and he's the first overall pick, you and I both know you're going to the worst team that needs somebody to come and galvanize that program and give you signature wins because you're coming to the worst of the worst. So talent-wise, there's going to be a chance. And when he goes on this quarterback workout and he sits down and he goes through the test and he goes through the interview process and he goes through the performance in shorts, he's going to look better than both of those guys.
I don't know. Go ahead. Go. I didn't know. I just got somebody.
No, go ahead. You good.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know. You hit the nail on the head. When you have talent around you, those numbers should be greater than what they are.
To me,
he wins. And obviously that's. But when you're going to a team that is maybe talent deficient or does not have as many weapons, you need a guy. You need a star. I don't know that Drew Aller is that star in this moment. I don't know that when you put on the film and you compare him to Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, you can say without a shadow of a doubt, yeah, I'll take that guy over those 2 guys. That's how GMs get fired.
All signs point to the Drew going back to school. That's
what I thought he was coming back as well.
But
all signs are pointing.
Yeah,
all signs are pointing. But there's a 2-game window that if he goes off against Notre Dame and he plays his way into it, I don't care what you say. If he's in the top 3 picks, he's gone, fellas. It's this game and the national championship game. If he plays the way that he played on spurts during the season, and there are some like Kerry, I'm telling y'all, you cut the film on and you watch this young man throw. Shedeur nor Cam can make throws like
he's a nice size. Yeah, he got it. But is it? But like I know, and all y'all know, if you're not consistent in doing it, then why would I trust that you're going to be consistent at the hardest level? If you're not consistent at the collegiate level, that's my and that's usually my problem with GMs. I can watch all of this film and I can look at every single piece of film and say, there's no doubt that Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are better quarterbacks than Drew Aller right now. But I'll take that film and discard it and go to a workout and see all the measurables and start to get excited about what could be. Well, if he's not doing it on film in college, he's not going to do it in the game in the NFL.
But Kerry, he has done it though.
not to the level of those two, is what I'm saying.
Kerry, there's only one of those guys. Just hear me out. There's only one of those guys that are playing in the playoffs right now.
Are we?
Hey, you cold? Hey, Smoke, you cold with what you just
cold, ain't he?
Cold. And if we didn't know football better, he would have been able to get. He tricked the fan base right there.
No.
And he reversed his Cam Ward stance from early in the year. He completely 180 on that joint.
No, people that's watching us right now. He just tricked.
You have to. I'm not advocating for him to be over those two. I'm just telling you how this thing can play out. And when it does play out that way, don't be shocked. There's a ceiling on both Cam and Shedeur Sanders.
I disagree with it when it comes to Shedeur. I said this.
His ceiling is Dak Prescott.
No.
Okay, no. Cool. Hear me out. Shedeur Sanders played with a top 2 pick, his daggone self.
I agree.
Maybe the best group of receivers in college football. Don't tell me nothing about offensive line play. I don't want to hear it because you're not. I don't want to hear it when you're in the NFL either. Quarterback and sacks go together. If you want to talk about sacks, don't put it on the offensive line. Put it on the daggone quarterback. So don't tell me about that. But the ceiling for Shedeur, he has one he can hit his head on. I think he, at best, his career is Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, which is not bad. Those guys aren't franchise quarterbacks. I know you're sitting back. You can't walk away and say Shedeur is a franchise quarterback that can galvanize a team and take a team to the playoffs.
I'm gonna flash your phone number on the bottom of this screen.
What evidence do you have in terms of winning as well? Do you have with Shedeur or Cam? Like they're all the same.
So my only issue with what your point is, Smoke, is it's a team game. Mm-hmm. Right. The quarterback does get the majority of the credit and the blame. But Drew Aller, he's doing enough. But they handing the ball off to some guys that are running downhill. Which also goes back to they handing the ball off to some guys.
Correct.
I think he threw for 187 yards in that game a couple of weeks ago or last weekend. Yeah. They're not winning games because of him. Colorado was winning games because of Shedeur.
No doubt about it.
So to me, that's the difference. Like when you're talking about a ceiling and a cap and hitting your head on something, if you think Shedeur's ceiling is Kirk Cousins,
Dak Prescott.
What do you think?
Quarterback.
What do you think Drew Aller's ceiling is?
Okay, let me jump in here real
quick. No, hold on, B. Answer that question. Yeah. What do you think Drew Aller's ceiling is?
I think Drew Aller's ceiling is higher than both of those guys. I think Drew Aller's ceiling is so tight. I think the way that Drew Aller plays the game, at times, you can put him into the Matthew Stafford conversation.
All right, but real quick.
Reed, I'm telling you, I'm not saying that I would do it, but just keep paying attention.
To the businessmen in Nashville, I promise when I come sit in the suite of the Titans game, I'm not going to bring smoke to the suite.
You'll be a 10-win team, 10-11 win team, 10 wins.
They already got Drew Aller.
Who?
The Titans.
You think Will Levis?
Hey, Will ain't got to catch it straight today, man.
Yo, that's insane.
That ain't no stray against Will Levis. That's comparable. That to me is who they got. They already got him.
What you
got?
How
they do that?
Okay. That is crazy work. Shouts to my boy Will Levis, man. I don't know, man. Cam Ward was really, really good this year, right? Mm-hmm. I think it was like 41 touchdowns.
Miami probably wins 3 or 4 games if they don't have Cam.
Yeah, you talking about win share. Win share's crazy. But.
I'm not taking that away from him.
But is it not the point at which you're going to draft Drew Aller at number 1? I'm just taking Travis Hunter. Like, what are we talking about? I'm respectfully, and I'm not shooting at you. That's not a shot at you, Smoke. It's not a shot at anybody. Up, down, left, right. select start, whatever. I ain't shooting at nobody.
Travis is not changing your ability to win a Super Bowl if you take him, if you don't have a quarterback.
With all due respect, Smoke, neither is Drew Aller.
Just my humble opinion.
But which one gives you a better chance?
Travis.
I'll wait till next year to get the quarterback. I'll take Travis. I do want to jump in the comments real quick, though.
How many Super Bowls does Julio Jones have?
None.
How many Super Bowls does Matt Ryan have?
How many does
None.
How many does Randy Moss have?
None.
Go back.
Hold on, look at this comment right here. This just tripped me out. This tripped me out. He called you Whitlock, dog.
Lightweight. That's wild.
That's crazy work, bro.
The contrarian hater is.
I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt.
I'm just telling you guys, if you want to play devil's advocate, go back and just do your homework, because a lot of these teams are going to. And again, even if he goes back to school, I mean, there's a time that Andrew Luck didn't want to go to the Carolina Panthers, and he went back to school. So, I mean, you can be strategic with this. I'm not saying at their best, throwing the football, Drew Aller is better than both of those guys. Throwing the football.
I think, go ahead, Reed.
Hey, hold on, real quick. How many Super Bowl rings does Andrew Luck have for the sake of the conversation? Okay. Here we go. Keep going.
His career got dumped on by idiots that screwed him over.
That part is true.
So
I love Andrew Luck. That was
they didn't decide to block for him. They ain't decide to get people that.
Look at this comment right here. The people crazy. This is how ugly rumors get started.
Hey, this is what I want to talk about right here. Hey, is it true, Reed?
He's been on staff, man. That dude is like
Reed, the chief of staff.
Congratulations, bro.
No, man.
Reed is taking Warren Sapp's place. He's going to get a job at the HBCU. Comes open next.
Oh, bro. Let me tell you something. I don't coach football anymore. I'm done coaching. I don't even know what a whistle look like no more.
Hey, man. But the tag still says Coach Reed.
John, all joking aside. I'm 44 years old. I said this on Twitter a while ago. When I turn 50, I'm going to come out of retirement and I'm going to coach when I turn 50.
Run the rock.
6 years away. I'm done. But as of right now, coach is not in my future on any level. I don't even want to, and I'm not having any parent meetings, right?
Thanks.
I'm only going to coach a team full of orphans. Right? I'm not dealing with any parents whatsoever. Last thing before we get out of here, guys. Vanderbilt quarterback, Diego, he applied for an extra year based on the JUCO year. So now what the NCAA is saying pretty much has been, if you went to JUCO, the JUCO years are not going to count anymore towards your eligibility. That's the way I'm understanding. I'm going to start with you, Smoke. What do you think about that rule?
Well, any rule that's in favor of building your team and years not counting, your team getting older. I read an interesting article, and I'll send it over to you, Reed. The 4 teams that are in the college football playoffs, they're a veteran-ran group. The older players and the older your team is, the better it is for your chances to win. So shout-outs to whatever Diego did in order to get that year back. But if I'm a talent evaluator and I'm a GM, and I'm on the West Coast, I am looking heavily into that rule, and that's how I want to start building the lower level of my team in order to get better faster. If I can't go out and get the talent acquisition in the transfer portal and spend like everybody else. So all out the Boise's of the world. I see my man out there, BM, Sacramento State, is doing an awesome job of doing that. I would look into that, and just whatever the rules are, you use them towards your advantage and build your team that way.
Kerry, what's your thoughts on it?
My first thought was, man, we coach high school football at one point, and so it's already been really hard. You got to be 101 to get a Division I FBS scholarship at this point, and it just made it that much harder. So my first thought was, for all the parents out there of high school, scholar athletes that have hopes and aspirations of playing at the collegiate level, if your son is not getting an FBS scholarship, it is not the end of the world. Do not, because Smoke, Brandon, parents and kids assume that, my career is over. I'm not going D1. Okay. So what? Do you love football or not? Because if you do, you're gonna have to go. You might have to go an alternative route. And so that was my first thought. Don't be afraid to go the alternative route, because at the end of the day, if you can play football, you're gonna play at the level you're supposed to play at. This decision, it makes it easier for coaches to not recruit high school kids. I can go to JUCO and they still got all of their years left. I can go to the FCS level and recruit and get guys in the transfer portal. I can go to the group of 5 or to other Power 4 conferences and go get players that have already had a year or two lifting weights, eating, doing the regimen of a collegiate athlete. I don't need to go to the high school to get a kid that don't eat every day, right? So that was the first thought I had is parents, don't lose your mind. Kids, don't lose your mind. Do you love football or not? I loved football. I'd have played it in the parking lot, bro, for free. I would have. I would have. I'd have lined it up. Nah, I would have.
Kids, don't go play football in the parking lot. Don't listen.
Hey, Kerry, sure ain't no cars out there.
Hey, Reed, he's saying all that, but once he saw that first game check, and he's like,
but I had to earn the right to get to that first check. Now, once I got that first check, I wasn't playing for free.
Let me tell you something. Hey, he ain't giving them game checks back.
Oh no, I'll take one right now.
So I'm gonna start here with this, Brandon. If you're a parent right now, would you utilize junior college as an option? If you were a parent or player for your kid, do you think that's a viable option? If you don't get the scholarship you want, go to junior college and develop?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to understand what everybody's going to college for different stuff. Reed, you and I have had this conversation with them last week, right? If your kid is focused on, I want to go to an elite level academic institution, and I can get that done coming right out of high school, then go ahead and go. If that's something that's on your radar and you want to do that, cool. But just know that I think across the board, if you take the elite academic institutions out of play here, you're going to be competing with, guys that are potentially 6 to 8 years older than you are, right? Like if you're 18, 17, 18, and forbid you're on the younger side of your class at 17, guys on the older in his class at 19, 2 years in front of you, 19. He goes to JUCO for 2 years. He's now 21. You're 17. That's a 4-year gap. And a coach is looking, okay, 23 or 19, the 21-year-old can help me right away. By the time the 17-year-old gets to 19, he's probably transferring and left me anyway. So, I think it's, again, you don't want to lose the train of thought of why you're going to school from a family perspective. But if you're going and you're going to go play football and you have a broad-based major, like a business-type major that's going to translate at almost any state school, irrespective of what you're doing, absolutely JUCO becomes a really viable option for full quals, right? Guys that were going to be full qualifiers. That used to be, you talk about Kansas, you talk about Texas and Florida. But now if you're a guy in Georgia, our JUCO system football-wise, non-existent. But you need to go to Florida. You need to go to Texas. You're going to have to do some different things. The JUCO system, especially in football, is not nearly as developed as it is in basketball. It's a lot harder to find. Every state almost has 1 or 2 JUCO basketball programs that's good. It doesn't exist like that in football. So I think that's something, Reed, when I want to put my finger on what I think a change will be, it's not even so much that you have to want to go to JUCO, but you're going to have to be willing to move to where the JUCO is for you to be able to go.
Well,
that's going to be an interesting change too.
Let me say this for all the people who saying that guys should be going to JUCO. Most of y'all should stay away from JUCO because you gotta be a really tough guy to make it through JUCO. You got the from the living conditions to the atmosphere to that's not what you signed up for probably initially just to go to college, period. So you got to really, really think about that. Yeah, it's an option for some people, but if you've been to the Kansas JUCOs in the middle of nowhere, if you've been to the JUCOs in Mississippi, if you've been to Iowa, where my son played at Iowa Western, I just think that you got to be like, that's going to determine whether you love football or not. If you go to a junior college, I don't recommend it unless your heart is really in it, and if your heart is in it, because here's what they don't talk about. You may go to JUCO and never get on the field, right? When my son played at Iowa Western, it was 61 guys who went Division I off of that team. Well, obviously only 22 people can start on a football game. So that means it's 40 plus Division I type talented guys that didn't start on the football team. So you got to deal with that. Number two, what if you go and you still a D2 guy at the end of JUCO? I mean, what if, like, just because you go to junior college don't mean you're going to develop into a Division I football player. I think one of the toughest things we do is we don't accept what our evaluations are on tape. Go to, and do you really, and people say, well, you can play longer. Did you intend on still being in college at 25, 26, 27 years old playing football? You think you're going to get some NIL money? You like, it just.
It's, yeah.
Whoever recruits you, man, go to school, man, and start your life. And if you're good enough to be a pro or anything like that happens, that'll work itself out and come to fruition. And believe me, you'll know if you're a pro because everybody will be chasing you.
Reed, you know the two and the worst things that's probably happened in the last few years in the way that we think about college sports in itself. And the third option should be the first option, but it's typically the last. Like when us 40-year-olds, 40 and 50-year-olds, we're thinking about going to the league. This generation is thinking NIL. Mm-hmm. We all knew it was only 1% of us going to the NFL. And Reed, you and I both know in the landscape of true NIL, there's only a few that's getting money that's going to change the way that their college career or their overall career is going to go. But the education standpoint has always been last. And at some point, we got to flip this thing all the way back around and start looking at like the main reason why most of us went to school is like my parents couldn't afford college. The football side of it and making it like it worked out. But darn it, I was like, bro, I know my folks can't afford college. I got to get there to have a chance to play in the NFL. You know what I mean? But I think the education part of it has been thrown under like the rug and swept under the rug because we're thinking about the bank. We're thinking about the bag, how we're going to get to it. And we haven't thought about how we're going to get our kids out and how we're going to educate them to finish out when they're old gray men like we are with bald heads, except you, Reed, that can finish out life and produce for their family and provide for their family like we're supposed to.
Listen, all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here on Monday and get out of here. Kerry, we let you take your Big Ten victory lap, right? You better hope one of them tires don't go flat because we will be on you. Pause.
Pause on Monday. I can dish it out. It ain't no problem. Bring it back. It ain't no problem.
Hey, look, Smoke, the fans want to know, did you get your kids a PS5 for Christmas?
Absolutely not. And listen, Reed, even if you donated one over to the house, it's not going to get turned on. They just have it sitting there collecting dust. It ain't happening.
No kids reading books, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Man, books. We trying to figure a way. That's it. We trying to figure a way how to get to college, bro. Yeah, somebody paying for it. That's it.
Yep. We out, baby. We'll see y'all next Monday.
All right, y'all.